Welcome to Talk of the Town, and joining me today is Mildura Regional Development CEO Brett Millington. Brett, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, John.
It's been 12 months since we last sat down, and of course COVID struck. This week we did a story together with Airport CEO Trevor Wilcock and Jason Modica, our Mayor. The collective disappointment in Mildura and in other regional areas in Victoria that we weren't included in the airfare subsidy package. Are you hopeful that maybe we will in the future?
Yeah, look, it was disappointing. We've obviously expressed that disappointment in a number of forums and through to various ministers as well as Tourism Australia themselves. So I guess we're hopeful that there will be further announcements and further levels of support. Our concern was always that it wasn't just being left out, but it's a double whammy effect in that potentially people who might otherwise travel to Mildura may be enticed by half-price airfares to go elsewhere.
That's right. Well, the Minister, Michael McCormack, did say this is round one, and I sort of got the feeling he's leaving the door open there, so let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, they certainly, there was a certain level of dissatisfaction around the country, and particularly from Victoria. The only airport that was included was Avalon, and so that left Melbourne out altogether, and we know how significantly Victorians have been impacted by COVID and lockdowns, particularly the tourism industry, and any support that we can get is invaluable.
Absolutely. COVID, of course, hit 12 months ago and closed a lot of businesses in Mildura, and we've had other lockdowns, and it's been a very hard year. It always amazes me, however, how resilient these business owners are, and they're always smiling and positive. How do you think the town's faring?
Yeah, look, I think one thing we know about this region is that we are very resilient. We've always been a long way from capital cities in terms of the number of kilometres that you travel to get here. And so we've had to develop our own internal resilience in order to be able to be successful at business. And we are hugely successful in terms of not only our export capability and what we produce in this region, but also internal businesses and supporting one another. I think one of the challenges that we faced is, with COVID and lockdowns, is the online purchasing, and what we've actually seen in December, up to December of 2020, was a 30% increase on the year before's expenditure online from local residents. So what we can say about that is that there is still an opportunity to redirect perhaps that online habit into local shops and supporting local businesses in that regard. So I think there's been a tough time, as you said. I'd like to think that we've been able to ride it fairly well. There are some businesses that have been significantly impacted and had to close. There's some others that are making up ground now, and what we need to be able to do as a community is get behind them and continue to spend locally. Support those businesses when we get the opportunity, but also when we do get those opportunities for stimulus, like from federal and state government, that we direct it towards being able to be spent locally.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, last year we didn't have an Easter. This year we look like we will, and it won't be quite what Easter usually is in Sunraysia, but it's going to be a lot better than last year. Yeah,
look, it was only a matter of days before Easter that lockdowns really kicked in, so it was a very different Mildura for that period. But we are quietly hopeful. Still, it's still in hope, because obviously we've seen other things jump in at certain times. But the planning is underway, and the expectation is that we will have a number of the events that we typically have in the region. Obviously, the ski race is a big loss. And very difficult to place, and we continue to work with the Mildura Ski Club in supporting them to hopefully continue their events into the future. But we'll look at the things like the show and shine is with City Harder doing a lot of work in the background around being able to make sure that an event like that would be COVID safe, and how they go about that, and then working with the other community groups that are running a number of events. I mean, Clay Target Shooting have a big 3-day event over that weekend. There's always the speedway, the drags, all the things that draw that big vibrant atmosphere into Mildura are all still running.
Tremendous. Look, I think we'll leave it until the next time we catch up with some terrific innovations that MRD are looking into, possibly a inland surf park and field of lights and so on, but let's talk about that next time around.
Absolutely, no problems at all.
And be sure to get all of your news at milduraweekly.com.au and look out for your free copy of the Mildura Weekly newspaper in your letterbox every Friday.